7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Down in the DM is Damon Dominique. He gon' leave you on red, ain't no time to speak. He put the D in the DM, and by that we mean Damon. Tagging in your mentions if you know what I'm saying.
Well, folks, it is 2021, and we're gonna be here for a while, most likely Thursdays. And I thought, well, what better way to get to know each other than to ask a one-sided Q&A. So here we are. You guys asked me 21 questions on Instagram, and I'm going to attempt to answer them in the worst lighting possible. Here we go. First question, Damon, how tall are you? Now, I've already met a few of you who were like, oh my God, I thought you'd be so much taller. Like, what am I supposed to respond to that? First off, I'm 5'9", and I like my height. I think I'm at like a really nice level to like see reality. I went on a date last week, and there was this guy who was like, oh, I'm really short. And I'm like, okay. And he was like, I'm 5'8". And I was like, first off, where is the self-worth here? Just because someone else is 6'2" don't mean that they're the model height for like the ideal human being. Like, can you get some self-worth over there? Like, how about everyone should model themselves after you? We're only 1 minute into this video. Let's keep going. How did you feel at age 20? How did I feel at age 20? What was I doing then? When I was age 20, I could be found in Dr. Emily Welty's Peace and Justice Studies office being accused of plagiarization, which, by the way, I did not do, but I am thankful to Dr. Emily Welty, one, because her class was one of the best that I've ever taken. She definitely changed a lot of my perspectives, one of which was me deciding to drop out of college. I was there defending myself for plagiarization, and she said, Damon, it seems like you don't even really want to be here. And I was like, actually, you're the first person who's ever said that to me, and you're correct. I don't want to be here. So what am I doing here? Dr. Emily Welty, what am I doing here?
Are you a spiritual person?
I am not. The thing is, sometimes I feel like I am, but I know that I'm not on the level as a lot of other people. I'm in like the maybe camp. Like, is God real? Maybe. Is astrology real? Maybe. Again, I'm more of the like, how could you ever know? How could you ever really know? I do think that sometimes people get religion and morality twisted. Like, I think you can be a morally good person, but not be religious. Me. What's more interesting to me is the philosophy angle. Like, what's at the edge of the universe? Like, what is at the edge of the universe?
Don't look at me.
Or if God is real, like, who created God? You're probably like, God did. Okay, but how? How did he create himself? Like, how can you create? You can't create just, I don't know. Maybe I am. Damn, this city's beautiful. Still to this day, I'll never let it like pass. All right.
How does Damon D relax?
Damon D relaxes. Let me tell you my secret. Did you know that there are dishes in my sink right now? Uh-huh. Guess how long they've been there? For 2 days. You didn't need to know that, and nobody else does. And that calms me down, knowing that, oh, I don't have to do those dishes right now. I'm gonna get to them when I'm ready to eat at home again. I'm not gonna stress myself out about it because I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there. Well, I put on music for plants, this playlist I found on Spotify for my plants. But then now I just listen to it even when I'm not at home. FaceTime my friends, Dominique and Masako, and that's how Damon D relaxes. Who wants to do my dishes?
Do you ever miss living in the States?
Here's the thing. Of course there are parts that I miss about the States. Like, I do miss the can-do attitude that, you know, with customer service, for example, people are just like ready to help you out. You're in line at Trader Joe's and someone strikes up a conversation. I do miss the easiness with strangers, but, and I miss like Trader Joe's and Whole Foods. You have your equivalents here, but it's not the same. Naturalia is not the same. I don't wake up realizing that I'm not in the United States. I wake up realizing like I'm in Paris, but it's not a thought in my mind. Like, this is probably the first time today that I thought like, oh yeah, I'm not in the United States. Like, what about you, Chloe? You're like, I miss it every day.
Yeah, missing that every day. Like drinking my cup of tea in the mornings, like, huh, no longer in London. At what age did you become most comfortable with your sexuality?
Again, this is something that I don't even really think about ever. Like I don't wake up in the morning thinking like I am a gay guy. Like I've actually never really had an issue with it. I never saw anything wrong with it. Like, did you? Like guy who's standing right there, like you wanna know more? I always used to think like if someone were to ever have an issue with me being gay, I would say like who gave you the right to decide like the ideal way to blow your nose? Like the ideal way to live life, you know? It's like my existence, who I am is not up for deliberation for your respect. Like it's funny to me because it's like you don't get to decide if I get to be tolerated or not. I just am. When I first started dating my ex, my boyfriend at the time, there was a part of me that was like kind of acting weird or not telling everybody. And then I questioned myself like, well, why wouldn't I want to tell everybody that? Why do I need to hide that? And I realized that I always thought being gay was normal. There was nothing wrong with it. So why was I acting like there was something wrong when I knew there was nothing wrong with me? Like why would I ever put that out into the world when I don't think that there's anything wrong? So anyways, I switched that right up real quick. And ever since, I've been turning these boys on. Okay, next question. Yes?
Why do you film in a 1440 by 1080 aspect ratio?
Oh, you mean a 4:3 aspect ratio?
Yeah.
You mean a square ratio? I get this question a lot. Damon, what do you, first off, like, how do you parallel park? Well, let's find out how many times it's gonna hit this car. Why do I film? Because I feel good in this square. If you look at old television, this is how it used to be filmed before technology. Now, of course, we have cars that get hit. Good thing for bumpers. I feel good in this square. This is how television used to be filmed. Of course, now we have technology. We have all these wide angles. Sometimes you don't need to know that there's like dog poop over there. And you don't need to people are like out to kill today. All right. I like the square. I think the square fits. Just like next question.
Are we done?
No.
What are your biggest fears and weaknesses?
Doesn't everybody want to know? It feels so good and comforting to know what someone's bad at. Things that I'm not really good at. Like recently I've discovered I'm so bad at math. Like simple things that like how do you, on the calculator, how do you take 25% of like 350? Like that is something that should be easy and that I used to be able to know how to do, and now I have no idea how to do that. Numbers, graphs, stats, analytics, taxes, finance. This is how I feel about it. I feel like a lot of these systems are made so complicated so that the average man can't understand them. And I don't like that. Maybe I'm just saying that, like maybe it's not that complicated. But I like to take a complicated subject and make it simple. Like the French course, for example. My fears, well, over the past few years, I've really developed a fear of deep water. Like going out on a boat on a lake freaks me out. Going swimming in the ocean now. I'll go in and then dip right out. Dip in, dip out. Let's go to the next question. Get nervous.
What's been the show that you've been binging lately?
I've been binging Lost. Yes, the show from 20 years ago. I was such a Lost fan. And when I was in high school, I would watch it every single Thursday with my friend Colin Schaefer. Oh my, we'd link up at gym class and be like, do you believe what the others did this week? So I've been rewatching it, but in French. Started from season 3. And I really like the show because it's not only, I mean, there's the travel aspect, but then you have the philosophy aspect. They're all asking questions like, what is the smoke monster? Yes, have you ever seen? I know. Every time like somebody watched Lost, they always turn on the episode with the smoke monster, and I'm like, that's not what it's about. Okay. No, but then there's like time travel. All right, so I've been binge watching that. I watch Friends all the time. My wife and kids. Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. But I really like Lost. How do you deal with failure?
Do you deal?
This is probably take 15, you guys. I was over here sitting on the dirty ass pavement with these pigeons next to me trying to think of what are the failures in my life? And I think that's exactly the answer. I've never once looked at my life as a failure. From the outside world, it might look like a failure, like me dropping out of college after 2 years when I only had a few more credits left to go. That's not a failure to me though, because that is exactly what needed to happen to get me to where I am now. There's one expression that I kind of came up with this year. We're all just waiting for the next thing to make sense of the last. which means that maybe right now is like a really like a failure kind of moment for you. But it's really not, because in a year from now you'll look back and be like, oh, that's exactly what needed to happen for this next thing to happen. So it's not so much a failure after all.
Do you want to have kids?
Kids? Like K-I-D-S kids?
Yes.
I know that I don't want kids right now for the next 5/50 years. No, I'm playing. I know that it's not right now, but I'm like not opposed. I feel like I don't have a strong opinion about this. I guess, but like that's no answer to bring a kid into the world. Like, I'm like, if I have help, like if maybe I have a nanny, like it's just a lot of work. Are we like on est d'accord? Having a child takes up so much time, and I don't know if I'm ready to give up that much time. But I do like the idea of like walking like my little son or daughter to school. Like how cute would that be? Taking my kid around the world. So there are parts that I like, but other parts I'm like, I don't know if it's for me. I got y'all my, all these bitches is my sons. There it goes with the hip hop reference.
So, how was your childhood?
So, my mom and dad divorced when I was 4, and actually that was probably the best decision ever. Talk about failure, that was no failure at all, because they got along so well my entire childhood. So half the week I would spend with my mom in the trailer, and then the other half we would go to my dad's house way out in the country. 2 older brothers, and I have 2 stepsisters, and everyone was just like, everyone got along. There were no family issues whatsoever. Sorry, I'm like thinking of like past trauma now coming up.
Hey, no problems at all.
No problems, I swear. No, for the most part, I had a really good childhood. My grandma Edna would always take me to school, and then we'd go get Arby's. You know what Arby's is?
Nuh-uh.
Oh my God, I get you a Jamocha shake and curly fries.
Did you face any criticism from people you knew when starting YouTube?
It wasn't like criticism that I knew of. I keep on coming with these expressions that I don't know if they even make sense. It's like you're walking into a room and everyone has an opinion about what you're doing, but you got your headphones in. Do you like the music you're listening to? That's the only thing that matters. Everyone could be jibber-jabbering about what you're doing, what kind of music you're listening to, but it don't matter because you're here listening to your music. So the question is, do you like what you're doing? I've always liked what I was doing, so maybe people had things to say, but I never saw it. And obviously there's like a barrier you have to get over when you're doing anything on social media. That is, my friends and family are gonna see this. But again, what's interesting is like, why would I think that they're not allowed to see this? Like, is there something I'm doing online that they shouldn't see? And like, that's the interesting question, I think. Why can't they see that side of you? I don't know. Does it feel weird? No. Is that my trade? Yes.
How did you decide what you wanted to do with your life?
Okay. That's how I start every question. All right. First off, you don't have to decide what you want to do with your life. For me, I always knew that I wanted to be a travel show host. I always knew that. The thing that I didn't really enjoy was that most of the times for those opportunities, you have to go to an audition in Los Angeles or New York City, and you just kind of have to wait for somebody to pitch that show, wait for a network to buy the show, and then there's like that one golden opportunity, and who's to say that like you're gonna be the person to get the casting? Can you imagine? Like, in what other career would that be like okay? Thank God that I was born in the era of the internet, because then you could create your own, and then hopefully that one day that like opportunity will come. But I always had the opposite issue, which was I wanted to be an interior designer, I wanted to be an architect, I wanted to be an ESL teacher, I wanted to be everything. Dirty ass floor. Only Europeans do this, by the way. No one else sits on the floor like this and goes home and like gets in bed.
It's called freedom, baby.
It's freedom ain't free. Okay, what?
Do you ever regret moving?
Yeah. No, I don't regret moving. You can always go back. If you're unhappy, you can always go back. So you're never completely stuck. Even when you feel like you're stuck, you're never really stuck. And why does this always turn into a motivational speech? Geez, of course there are parts that you might miss that you would have liked to take with you. Like, that's life. Life is a game of choices, baby. So no, I don't regret moving. This is like the city that makes me the happiest of all. And if I really, really, really miss New York or LA or any of the others, then I'll just go back there, and that's how you do that one. Oh, is it on? All right, cool.
What/who inspires you?
So I actually keep a list of people that inspire me in my Notion. In case I'm ever having like a creative burnout, I'll be like, let me just refresh. It's nice to have a list of people that have always inspired you. So here's the list that I have. I didn't like edit this for this video, it's just, this is what it's here. It's called Creative Reminder. Callie Uchis, Chelsea Handler, Amy Schumer, Alexa Chung, Brit, Rachel Bloom, Michaela Cole,
Represent.
Gwen Stefani, RuPaul, Amy Winehouse, Green Tea Pang. I should just move to London.
Come on, let's go. Do you think one day you'll get tired of your lifestyle and want to settle down?
You know what? I'm so sick and tired of people. Every single year of my life, people have told me that one day I'll want to settle down. It's been 10 years. And what do I want to do? Clean this bathroom. That's what I want to do. Every single year of my life, my desire to travel the world has increased. My desire to live around the world has increased. I don't want to settle down. People are like, oh, do you want to buy a house? Maybe in multiple cities. Damon, do you want to live in Paris the rest of your life? I don't know. I actually don't know. So do I want to settle down? Not right now. I think that's all the answer. That's all the answer. Okay, we're just gonna... I actually do gotta pee though, so okay, bye!
How and why did you start being vegan?
I'm not vegan. I'm almost vegan. And I don't want any of y'all trying to spread this rumor anymore, because then you have people like Chloe behind the camera who's like, oh, mayonnaise isn't vegan. I'm not vegan! One day I will be. So I'm from a household that's like meat eating. My dad's a hunter. I grew up with literal deer hanging from their ankles, bloody in the garage. There's like, yeah, isn't that like, anybody want to eat lunch? I originally wanted to be vegetarian because I had a crush on this girl named Kiara Amstutz, and I thought she was so cool. Then Ellen DeGeneres, which was somebody that I watched every day at 4 p.m., she was also vegan. So what started as like my general disgust for like meat, then became like, oh, I want to be like them. And I didn't know that that was an option. So here we are today with my non-vegan Vietnamese sandwich. I didn't ask for cucumbers.
What is your favorite time of the day?
My favorite time of the day, I love the mornings. Like a nice 7:30 a.m. I used to be better about this. Since COVID hit, I'm a late sleeper. Like I wake up at 9:15 now. But then I stay awake later too. But no, in general, like once this whole thing's in the past, I want to get back to like waking up at 7:15, waking up at 8:08. That was always my thing. I always woke up at 8:08. I don't know why. That was, cause in like hip hop songs, there's like the 8:08 bass. So I always set my alarm for 8:08. Anyway, so I'm a morning person. I do like the morning. I like getting out in the city and like seeing everyone getting to work. Like there's something about knowing that you have the entire day, that like something's gonna happen. Like we are about to make this life happen. Here in this beautiful Montparnasse, we're about to make life happen. Let's go. And last but not least, Damon, what advice would you have for your 16-year-old self? The first thing I would say is that especially with social media, I didn't grow up, there was like MySpace, but that don't really count. Nowadays, when you grow up with social media, there's so many ways to look around at what everybody else is doing and then feel bad about your place in the world. Here it goes with the freaking motivational angle again. I just feel like anytime that I feel myself getting in a funk, it's because I'm looking around at A, B, and C, but I ain't focused on a D. And so whatever you gotta do, put on the peripheral blockers, stay in your lane. Do you? There are many ways, many different expressions people use for this, but all I know is that it's really loud out here. I would say, stay in your lane, do what you do best. They ain't got that boom like you do. And that'll make you feel better, and also you'll get more stuff done. You'll like actually be aligned with what you actually want to do. And this is over 1 minute, so I'm gonna end it there. Thank you for watching this episode of Down in the DM, and it's Damon Dominique. He gonna leave you on red, ain't no time to speak. You put the D in the DM, and by that we mean Damon. Tag him in your mentions if you know what I'm saying. And we got somebody here thinking that I'm a rapper trying to sell mixtapes on the sidewalk. See y'all later.